On a cold night in 2011, in a modest Missouri home lay the body of Betsy Faria, a loyal wife, devoted mother, and lover of life itself. She had been stabbed more than 50 times.
Oh, my God.
Later determined as 56. Many of these wounds inflicted post-mortem.
Oh, yeah.
A frenzied, violent attack. All signs pointed to her husband, Russ, who was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison.
We've given away the ending. Or
But
have you?
the true story wouldn't be uncovered for years after this. The story is, in fact, stranger than fiction. This is the case of Betsy Faria.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
Sometimes reality doesn't just imitate fiction. It outshines it, twisting in ways that no novelist could invent. The story of Betsy Faria begins in such a place, a quiet Midwestern town where neighbours wave politely across the white picket fences, where life moves slowly, measured by the rhythm of work, church and family dinners. But beneath that serene surface, a mystery was brewing, one that would confound investigators, divide a community, and read like something stranger than fiction. A woman, devoted mother and nurse, would vanish not into the wilderness, but into the shadows of a world she thought she knew. A world where betrayal, suspicion, and secrets lay quietly, waiting to surface. It was a case that proved the truth can be more shocking than any story you've ever read, because in the end, reality doesn't play by the rules of storytelling. Stranger Than Fiction describes events or situations so odd, unlikely, or astonishing that they seem more plausible in an invented story than in real life.
But sometimes fiction is also strange, like Stuart Little. Because if you think about that, a small mouse being in a human orphanage and being chosen to be adopted by human parents instead of...
Okay, that's also an odd story. I'm not saying it's not.
Is this one weirder than that?
Weirder than that.
Okay,
We'll see after that.
End.
It implies that reality has produced coincidences, ironies, or occurrences that exceeded the inventiveness or believability of fiction, often heightening the unexpected, surreal, or paradoxical nature of actual experience. For police investigating this crime, it seemed like a perfectly open and shut case, and you'd hardly blame them for thinking that. Not surprisingly, a frenzied crime is committed by someone the victim knows, someone that is trusted. On a cold December night in 2011, the front door of this modest Missouri home stood unlocked. Inside, Christmas decorations still glowed softly, as if waiting for a family that would never return. In the living room, Betsy Faria, a devoted mother, a beloved friend, a woman fighting cancer with quiet determination.
Oh, no.
She had been stabbed more than 56 times. At the time the coroner was examining her, he actually stopped counting.
Oh, my God.
This was excessive violence.
They always say it's like kind of a robbery gone wrong or something. It's never like that because these frenzied attacks come from like passion.
Passion, yeah, and it drives them. They're obviously thinking about it, or it's just an outburst or something. Now, there was no sign of forced entry, no robbery, no obvious motive that made sense.
Sounds like the husband.
Yeah, exactly. Within hours, police zeroed in on the person who should have been grieving her most, her husband, Russ. The story seems simple, too simple. Russ Faria was convicted and sentenced to life in prison.
I mean, were there any... Are you going to go into what they said the mitigating factors were? Or was
yeah, they are. They are, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
The case was declared closed. But did the wrong person go away for the crime? Betsy Faria's story was far from over. Because years later, as cracks began to appear in the conviction, investigators would uncover a trail of lies, manipulation, and another dead body.
Oh, my God.
One that suggested Betsy's murder was not a tragic crime of passion, but the first move in something far darker.
Oh, no.
And the question everyone would soon be asking was not who killed Betsy Faria, but how many lives have been destroyed before the truth finally surfaced. Gee, have you heard this case before?
I don't think so.
Well, I a friend of the pod and lovely listener, Ash, told me about this one, and I have been hooked by it. There is a TV show where Renee Zellweger plays a part in this, and it is absolutely fascinating.
That's all I've heard about. Like, I know that she did a dramatized version of I don't know the story.
Betsy Faria was born on March 24th, 1969. And from the beginning, she was kind of the person who made you feel like you mattered. Oh. She had the ability to make you feel like you were the only person in their world. Kind of like Diggs right now, really cuddling up to you right now. Really cuddling right into...
Oh, shit!
Are you okay? No, it's all of you. You're wrong. Oh, that's okay.
Now, if you keep that in...
Yeah.
I do apologise to the listener for screaming the F word into the microphone. Diggs was having a very cute cuddle and then whacked his hand up into my glass of red wine. And that, Sammy, is why we should always be drinking Jans.
That's right, correct. So we'll talk about Betsy Faria. So from the beginning, she was the kind of person who made you feel like you mattered. She had the ability to make you feel like you were the only person in their world and leave the room brighter than it was before.
Oh, how beautiful.
She was the absolute party starter, showing up to every single celebration and would often be the person organising the event. Her laugh was loud and her humour was quick. Betsy never met a stranger in her life. Betsy lived with her husband, Russ, in Troy, Missouri.
Troy?
Isn't that a nice funny name? Place. Yeah. And her two teenage daughters, Leah and Maria, from a previous marriage. Life was simple and it was full. By the day, Betsy worked at a local gas station. The hours were flexible and she liked getting to know people. So she kind of loved it, just talking to people day to day. Her real passion, though, was music.
Oh.
She had her own DJ business called Party Starters. Betsy didn't care what kind of event it was. A birthday, a backyard barbecue, she would always bring the energy. It was kind of how she connected with people through music. Betsy met Russ at a gas station where he was a regular, and in true Betsy form, she didn't wait for Russ to ask her out. She wasted no time and instead asked him out.
Yeah, what a queen.
They just clicked. Their first date was at a casino.
Oy.
Russ was a quieter guy who kept to himself and loved the tech side of things instead. He'd help Betsy with her playlists and running the party starters. Betsy was the one who remembered birthdays, planned surprises, and showed up when it mattered. When Betsy was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2010, she stayed that way completely. She didn't want to be treated any differently and didn't want to be seen as the victim. She organised fundraisers for others, attended all important events, and supported other families and continued to fight for her life because it was worth living. But then, in October 2011, she got the worst news. The cancer had spread to her liver and it was now terminal. But even then, Betsy didn't stop.
Wow.
She was strong and unstoppable. Friends helped her get to chemo appointments with Betsy, planning for the future, making holiday plans, seeing friends, and making sure she was making the most of the time that she had left. She was, after all, the party starter. On December 27th, 2011, Betsy had another round of chemo. Her appointment began just after 1 p.m. The treatments were really starting to wear on her. She was getting weaker and thinner, but it never stopped Betsy. On the way home, she actually stopped at her mother's house. That's fun for me. House. She stayed for a few hours, catching up and keeping things light. She was in really good spirits that day, talking about an upcoming girls' trip and New Year's plans. Russ had planned to pick her up and drive her home to Troy. However, one of Betsy's former co-workers, Pam Hup, insisted on taking her home instead. Betsy's friend, Bobby Junkst, had offered her a ride, but Pam insisted that she take her instead. Pam and Betsy left at around 5 p.m, taking a walk in the park on the way. Pam then dropped Betsy at home sometime around 7 p.m. and left shortly after 7:21 p.m. Betsy's daughter Leah called her, but it rang out. Betsy very rarely ignored her daughter, so Leah was immediately worried. Russ had been out for most of the evening. He had left work at 5 p.m. to go to his friend Mike Corbin's place, where he spent time with Mike and 2 other friends playing board games, watching a couple of films, including Catch Me If You Can.
What a cool boys'
What a night, a boys' night. Just sitting back playing board games, having pizza.
I think we should bring back board game nights.
Absolutely, yeah. Your friend Bam always tries to bring out a board game anywhere we are.
No, not a board game. She brings out those like weird question games
cards,
or like cards and stuff.
Yeah. And ordered pizza, right? So Russ left around 9 p.m, stopped at Arby's, where the receipt was timestamped at 9:09 p.m. Mm-hmm. When he arrived home at around 9:40 p.m, something felt really off. Mm-hmm. The lights were off, the front door was unlocked, and everything was eerily quiet. When he walked into the house, the worst fears were confirmed. There was Betsy lying dead on the living room floor. Yeah.
Oh, God, how awful.
He kind of thought at first she must have fallen, but there was blood everywhere, smeared along the walls and all over the carpet. A knife was still in her neck.
Oh, God.
Her arms and wrists were covered in defensive wounds. Russ called 911. His voice trembling, he was sobbing and gasping, stumbling over his words. At one point in the 911 call, he stated that he thought that Betsy might have actually killed herself, which would later be scrutinised. That was an odd thing to bring up straight away with that many wounds. That
I mean, look, I will play devil's advocate here. Yeah. I don't think that you would look really deeply at the body of your
that's right. And I feel like you'd be in such a daze as well of coming home and seeing your loved one like that. Yes. Yeah.
But a knife in the neck is not common.
No, I wouldn't think. Yeah. When first responders arrived just before 10 p.m, they walked into the scene of staggering violence. Officer Christopher Hollingsworth was one of the first on the scene. I think that's a great name, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Betsy's body was near the couch. Her limbs were twisted in unnatural ways, covered in blood.
Oh, dear.
She had been stabbed, what they thought at the time, 55 times, wounds to her chest, arms, neck and head. Oh. The tip of the kitchen knife had broken off in her skull.
Oh, my God.
Blood covered the floor, the walls and saturated her clothing. The attack was frenzied and very personal. Russ was barefoot in the kitchen when the officers arrived. Still on the phone to 911, rambling and visibly shaken. To some of the officers, it looked like he was faking it. One of the officers said that they thought he was putting on a bit of a show, but it was unbelievable. There were details that raised immediate suspicions. There were no signs of forced entry. The family dog was calm and unharmed, which suggested that whoever came into the house was not a stranger.
I don't know what time it's happened, though.
I know, but a dog would kind of probably be outside, or I don't know if they would be around. I don't know, there's something weird about. I'm pretending to be a dog expert. Russell's slippers were placed neatly nearby, completely clean.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
Odd considering the amount of blood pulled across the floor. Did he take the shoes off when he was walking into the house? What really happened there? These conditions didn't really seem consistent with someone who kind of just stumbled across a really gruesome scene.
Yeah, when you said he was barefoot, that would make me immediately go, hang on.
Yeah.
You stumbled across that, called 911 and then just taken your shoes off. It's all why would your mind even be there?
It did seem a little bit strange. Yeah. Russ was fully cooperative. He let officers take his phone and clothes without resistance. He also agreed to take a polygraph test. But as the night wore on, the shift focused from Russ as grieving husband to prime suspect. Russ's clothes were clean. This led investigators to believe he staged the scene.
Or he wasn't there.
Yeah.
No, but they didn't think that. That's the thing. Obviously, that's why his clothes were clean.
Or he wasn't there.
Because he wasn't there.
I think what they meant is even if he kind of leaned over her body or something or walked through the pools of blood, there would have been some blood on him.
And thinking you would do that if you found your wife on the floor. Surely you'd go to grab her.
You might go. Yeah. Okay. So it just seemed really suspicious. The slippers and that seemed a bit odd, and they thought that the 911 call, which I won't play in this, but you can look it up if you want. It is, it's awful, and they thought that he was kind of being really over the top.
Isn't it funny though? I'm saying the reactions I'm having are because you've said he was.
I know.
Because I know it wasn't him.
Yes.
But if I didn't know that, I'd be going, oh, yeah, his clothes are clean.
And it's always the husband, which is the thing here. Now, I find
of course, it's not always the husband.
Yes.
But it's always the first person you look at.
Always the first person, yeah. So he took a polygraph and he failed.
Oh.
They suggested that maybe he blacked out, perhaps he had snapped and just didn't remember. Russ denied this and walked them through his timeline once again. Prosecutors would later argue that Russ had returned home after spending the evening with friends, got into an argument with Betsy, possibly about money or her failing health, and snapped. They believed he stabbed her in a fit of rage, then cleaned himself up before calling 911 and acted like he kind of stumbled across the body. It was also suggested that his friends helped cover for him or that he could have slipped away earlier without anyone noticing in the night. Police also interviewed other people who had seen Betsy that day, including Pam Hup, who had dropped her off. Pam told investigators that when she dropped her off, she didn't initially go inside, but told them that Betsy had seemed anxious that day and told her that she was fearing for her life.
Oh my God, hang on.
And what would kind of happen to her daughters if anything happened to her.
Oh.
Pam told authorities that Betsy had confided in her that she was actually afraid of Russ.
Uh-oh.
And that things at home had been extremely tense.
Okay.
Pam's descriptions had confirmed what authorities had already been thinking, especially between Russ's 911 call, odd, inconsistent comments he was making, and the frenzied murder scene with clean clothes and slippers. It seems sadly like this was an open and shut domestic violence case that ended with the death of Betsy. On January 4th, 2012, Russ was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. But the truth would come out, but not for 10 years later.
Oh, shit.
And it is, in fact, Georgia, stranger than fiction.
Whoa.
The trial began in late 2013, nearly 2 years after Betsy's death. Lincoln County prosecutors argued that their marriage had been under strain because of her health and that he had lashed out. I think a thing about him as well, he was very quiet, very unassuming, and I think people went, oh, it's always the quiet ones, and they kind of built a case around him.
And, I mean, the friend Pam saying she feared
scared
for her
of
life
him,
and she was scared of him. I mean...
And
again,
talking to
if I
of
didn't know
time.
It wasn't him, I'd be going.
I know.
Is, yeah, like it's so scary though, isn't it? Like
so scary.
Maybe there are lots of others, people who are wrongly convicted that we've been like,
I know. Yeah. They also brought in witnesses to attest that Russ drank too much sometimes, and that the couple often argued. It was nothing too extreme, but just enough to paint the picture of the tension at home. It's kind of what prosecutors want to do. You know, they want to go. There was tension. Yep. Are we saying beyond reasonable doubt? You know, like it's all of that. Yeah. One of Betsy's friends stated that Betsy had once told her that she was afraid of Russ and was planning on leaving him. Without physical evidence tying Russ to the scene, it was all circumstantial. Pamela Hupp took the stand and testified that she drove Betsy home that night and that she seemed anxious, that she feared Russ, and that things had reached a breaking point behind closed doors. There were gaps in the timeline, but the state downplayed them at the time. Russ's alibi and that he had picked up Arby's on the way home was shaky. Prosecutors argued that the receipt with the timestamp could have been planted or that his friends could have helped him cover up what was really happening that night.
I also feel like if it was planted, wouldn't you make the time closer to the time of death? Because didn't you say...
Yeah.
Did you say time of... No, sorry. You said he got home about half an hour after the Arby's receipt was
Yes, yeah.
Do we know the time of death yet? Is that...
No.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was somewhere between that time, they think, or just earlier than that, yeah. The prosecution did not have to prove a motive and did not have to have physical evidence linking Russ to the crime. Circumstantial evidence alone would be enough to put him away. The polygraph was also brought in as evidence, and the jury
didn't think they were ever allowed to do that.
Yeah, well, apparently it was here.
Wow.
And the jury were told that Russ had in fact failed. The defence felt that authorities had locked in on Russ too quickly and ignored other leads. They also argued that the scene had been tampered with, but this didn't gain any traction, and after 1 week, there was a verdict.
Oh, wow.
It only took 4 hours of deliberation.
Oh.
Russ was found guilty.
Hang on, the trial was only a week.
Yeah.
What the
Yeah.
hell?
Russ was found guilty of first-degree murder and armed criminal action.
What are that? Weird.
He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Far out.
When the verdict was read out, Russ barely reacted. He sat quietly as the judge read his sentence. Outside the courthouse, the public reaction matched what the prosecution had argued. In Troy, the case became a local obsession. Russ was sent to Jefferson City Correctional Center, where he spent his days reading in the prison library and trying to hang on to some sense of routine. He had lost Betsy. He had lost everything. And now he was convicted of murder. On the outside, the case was closed, but not to everyone. Russ's friends, who were with him that night, never ever stopped believing him. They started reaching out to the media and Russ's cousin, Mary Rogers, who tried everything. She filed public record requests, built a timeline, and got her hands on any evidence that she could. She was convinced something didn't add up.
What a stressful situation to feel like you as a member of the public, not an authority of any type, you feel like you have to do the police work for them.
Because I think that, a lot of the time, I think it's like if they have their victim, if they have their suspect and they've kind of locked them up and everything matches. I mean,
well, of course they're not doing the work anymore. They believe it's him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not even. I'm not even poo-pooing the authorities.
Don't poo-poo.
They're gonna they believe that it is him.
Exactly.
But I mean, for her sitting there going, well, I'm gonna have to do this myself then.
Yeah, it's all on me now.
Oh, God, what a stress.
In 2014, the case caught the attention of Dateline. Dateline, often called Dateline NBC, is a long-running American television news magazine and true crime show that focuses primarily on real-life criminal investigations, mysterious deaths, and courtroom drama.
Why is it called Dateline? Do you know?
I don't know why it's called Dateline. No. Oh, maybe I should look that up. But maybe we can do it in a fact check. We always do fact checks.
You said that like it's a fun segment where everyone waits for.
Everyone will look forward to that fact check moment. Each episode typically explores one or two cases in depth. Using interviews, police footage, reenactments, archival video, and narration to reconstruct what happened and how the case unfolded. The show is especially known for its slow burn storytelling, plot twists, and attention to the psychology and motives of the people involved. Since its debut in 1992 on NBC, Dateline has become a staple of true crime TV. The case of Betsy had all elements of a compelling true crime case. The Dateline team reviewed transcripts and started to retrace Russ's footsteps that day and make their own timeline of what they believed was possible. As they got deeper, cracks began to show. There were so many unanswered questions. Joel Schwartz, Russ's attorney, was still working on the case, along with, I believe, and look, I've read this in some reports and it's not in other reports. I cannot confirm this for sure, but a woman by the name of Kathleen Zellner. Do you know who that is?
I recognise the name.
A nationally recognised attorney for overturning wrongful convictions. So there's some reports that Joel Schwartz being Russell's attorney, but only a couple actually mention Kathleen. And I don't know, maybe I'm going to tell you who she is, so don't worry about this.
I picked up my phone to Google for you.
You're going to lose your goddamn mind when you find out who she is. But I don't know if she was maybe just an advisor and it's not on her record of what she did. But, if you actually know the truth of this and if you know if it was this Kathleen Zellner, please do write in. Because Kathleen T. Zellner is an American attorney based in Illinois, best known for her work on wrongful conviction cases, civil rights litigation, medical malpractice suits, and post-conviction appeals. She was kind of built a national reputation as a fierce advocate for individuals who have been unjustly convicted for those whose rights have been violated. She gained widespread public attention as the attorney for...
I want you to give... I know that I know it. Can you give me a hint? I want to guess it.
A very popular TV show was made about this crime.
Making a Murderer?
Yeah, Stephen Avery. Yeah. So as the attorney for Stephen Avery.
Thank you for letting me guess that.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
There are not many better feelings in the world. I mean, that's not quite to this, but like the best feeling in the world is when there's something on the tip of your tongue and you can't remember, and then it just comes to you.
Right on. I think it's funny to sing it like that. Like you don't actually know the words for it, so you go right on. So the song isn't whatever. So like Stephen Avery, the Netflix documentary, where she worked on post-conviction challenges to his conviction, and she is actually in the second series of that as well, quite heavily.
I'm going to do that story soon.
Yeah. So even if it's not her. That actually, even if it's not that Catherine, she's great, and I want to talk about her. Zelna was.
I'd like to talk as well. I'd like to give a shout out to Zac Efron. Just like to talk about him.
Sure. Thank you for bringing him up as well.
You're welcome.
Zelna has represented other notable wrongful conviction clients like Kevin Fox and Ryan Ferguson, winning their exonerations and or civil rights verdicts.
Wow.
Her legal work has been featured on television and documentaries, and she's received national awards for her advocacy, such as the American Bar Association's Pursuit of Justice Award. In 2022, Zelna served as a consultant to Johnny Depp on the Depp versus her defamation trial.
Oh, yuck, I hate that
so
story.
look, even if it's not the same Zelna, I thought it was worth mentioning her biography because I'm sure at some point we'll be covering Stephen Avery, which you just said you would.
Let's do Johnny Depp and Amber Heard as a Thursday treat as well.
That's not a real
it
treat,
makes me
but
furious,
I know.
but we should talk about it.
We will. So the two started building a broader appeal. So these are the two attorneys, whether it's them or not. Not just to argue that Russ was innocent, but began laying out the evidence that would then point to someone else.
Well, that's the thing as well. If there seems to be enough evidence to convict someone, there was enough evidence to convict someone, they did convict someone, you often look at it as like it's not enough to just say, no, but he didn't do it.
Yeah.
If you can say, but this person did, you're way more likely
Exactly.
to.
Well, was it somebody that they already knew? Yes. It was the very person that dropped Betsy off.
What?
Pam Hup.
What the No, it wasn't.
In fact, shortly before Betsy's death, Betsy had changed her beneficiary to her friend Pam Hup.
Sammy, what?
Who insisted that she was just trying to help her dear friend.
What? Did you just drop out of nowhere, just quietly, it was Pam?
Yep.
What?
So let me ask you this question.
Let me ask you this one.
Who the fuck is Pam Hup?
Who the fuck is Pam Hup?
Pam
That sounds
Hup.
like a cool song.
It does. Who the fuck is Pam Hup?
Who the fuck is Pam Hup?
Forgot any singer-songwriters, please do.
I'm writing it and singing it now.
That's good. That's good.
Who the fuck is Pam Hup?
You're a real lyricist.
You're
Running
about to
pup
tell
with,
me. You're about to tell me so.
Oh, it's another for that.
Diggs is also a pup.
Oh, that's good. I like that. Yeah. That'd be very good in the Pam Hup song if Diggs came up for no reason.
Yes.
Everyone's going, who's Diggs?
Yes.
Pam Hup was born Pamela Marie Newman on October 10th.
Can I just say I'm not currently signed to any record labels.
Yes, thank you.
So I am available if anyone listening is interested.
Much. Pam Hup was born Pamela Marie Newman on October 10th, 1958 in Delwood, Missouri, a working-class suburb just north of St. Louis. She was the third of 4 kids in a devout Catholic family. Her dad worked for an electricity company while her mum worked as a school teacher. She had a pretty standard upbringing. She went to Riverview Gardens High School where she was a cheerleader. People described her as outgoing and a little intense. She was occasionally funny and loved to be the centre of attention.
Occasionally funny, that's the best way
Every
to describe
description I
someone
could
ever.
find of her was she was occasionally funny. No one ever said she was funny. In her senior year, Pam fell pregnant.
Whoa.
She married her boyfriend shortly after graduation.
Oof.
The marriage only lasted a few years before they were divorced. Eventually, Pam married Mark Hup. Mark Hup.
That's a made-up name.
A former minor
It sounds
league...
like you're saying, like, whose cup is that? That's Mark.
That's Mark Hup, a former minor league baseball player turned carpenter. They had a son together and lived in Florida for a short time before moving back to Missouri and settled in a town near St. Louis. They bought a modest home and flipped houses on the side. That's pretty heavy.
Hey, must have been strong.
Pam worked a series of administration assistant jobs. She worked at State Farm Insurance for a short time. Some of her past co-workers described her as competent, and she got a lot of compliments. Competent and organised, while others thought she was defensive, not good at defensing, domineering and prone to exaggeration.
I would put money on that she... Oh, wait, no, you said her... What was her birthday?
1958.
Do you remember that? It was in October or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was October 1958.
I was going to say she's a Virgo. They're saying she's organised, she likes things done the right way, she's also defensive. I'm saying that, dear listener, because I am
And we'll kill you with a glance.
And I'll kill you. Oh, my God.
Don't say that. No,
it's
that's
not
the soundbite
funny.
for today's episode. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. I'm not going to kill anyone. And I was
No,
forgetting we
you
are
won't.
talking about a murderer. That's not funny. Sorry.
So she was actually let go after she was caught forging signatures for the insurance place. Over the years, Pam made some pretty big claims that she had a high-level security clearance and ties to the FBI.
Oh, okay.
None of this was true. By 2010, she was claiming disability for chronic pain and stopped working full-time. She was known for being incredibly frugal, almost to the point of obsession. She would find anything to flip for a profit. She could be fairly manipulative and a no-nonsense attitude, but in public seemed like a fairly upstanding good person who took care of her ageing mother, Shirley. She wasn't... Shirley, isn't Shirley a nice name? She wasn't particularly social, but not a hermit either, and she kept a very low profile. Now, G's excited right now because Diggs just picked up the toy he's been not playing with as much, Chimkin.
You got him a toy Chimkin for his birthday that he hasn't really cared about.
I don't care about
and
it.
it was just up on the TV cabinet. He just walked over, quietly picked it up and brought it over to his bed. It was very cute.
He's a lovely boy.
I am concentrating on you though, Sammy, I promise.
To people on the outside, Pam looked like a very good friend to Betsy after her diagnosis. As investigators began to dig deeper, Pam's role began to look very different and truly disturbing. In February 2015, the Missouri Court of Appeals overturned Russ's conviction.
Because all this...
The court cited major legal errors, including evidence. This is why I got this mixed up. Including excluding evidence they had that could have pointed to another suspect.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It cleared the way for a new trial where the defence could finally tell Russ's full story.
Okay, so the courts don't know yet that it's Pam.
No, but they're saying the police...
He's got an appeal and an overturned conviction because his appeals lawyer has gone, there was evidence you didn't include in the trial.
Yeah.
How is that taken an appeal court, or like an appeals lawyer to say that? Like, were his lawyers in the first place shit?
Yeah, they must have been. Or that there was just enough evidence they thought circumstantial. They couldn't point it to someone else at the time. So I guess they just went, oh, it's definitely this person. And the jury ate it up.
This doesn't feel like a groundbreaking thing to say, but I feel like all evidence available should always be put before the court.
Correct. I agree with you,
Is that crazy to say that?
That's not crazy to say that at all.
Thank you for saying that.
At the retrial in November 2015, there was a very different version of events told. In the new trial, the jury learned that Betsy had changed the beneficiary to a $150,000 life insurance policy to none other than Pam Hup, just 4 days before her death.
4 days.
4
Why
days.
are people so stupid? You hear this so often that days
so
or like
nuts.
2 weeks after changing their beneficiary, they're all of a sudden done.
Yeah.
Mysterious circumstances. That is so obvious.
So obvious. She had removed Russ and added Pam. There was no formal documentation.
Well, hang on. Sorry. I'm going to now immediately go back on what I just said. Perhaps they have looked at that and that was a smoking gun for them to go, she's removed him from the life
she could
insurance.
have been scared of him.
Because, exactly.
There were no formal documentation to indicate why, and there was no indication that Betsy's daughters were going to receive any of that money.
Oh, which seems,
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm flipping and changing all the way around here.
The defence introduced this as a financial motive and evidence that she had kept from the jurors the first time around. Or that had been kept from the jurors, not she had kept. There was also evidence of shifting statements from Pam. At one point, she claimed that she never entered Betsy's house.
I remember you saying that.
And another time, she said that she did. Pam declined to testify at the second trial. Invoked her Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Without her on the stand, the defence could highlight the inconsistencies and how differently she was treated than Russ as a suspect. Pam's versions of events also did not match the mobile or cell phone records, which placed her near the Faria home, and well after she said she left.
Sorry, mobile Patel pings did place her there long after she said she left.
She said she left, yeah.
Oh my God, why was this investigation so poor in the first place? Also, we say it's always the husband, but it's also always the person who saw them last.
Yeah,
it's like who they look at, what?
Yeah. The defence laid out the full timeline that investigators never verified in the initial investigation.
Oh my God.
The first trial solely focused on Russ and not any other explanations for what had actually occurred.
Which in the trial I can understand, but the police investigation should not have done that.
That's right. Russ did not have blood on him, even though the murder was horrifyingly gruesome. Witnesses described Betsy's final days as hopeful, not of someone living in fear. Schwartz and Zellner showed the alibi, financial records and phone logs that had been missing from the original trial, stating that Russ's conviction had never been properly scrutinised despite his alibis. On November 7th, 2015, after just 3.5 hours of deliberation, the jury returned with a verdict. Want to have a guess what they decided, you love?
Not guilty.
Russ was acquitted on all charges.
Wow.
He walked out of the courthouse after spending 4 years imprisoned for a crime he did not commit.
Oh, and a crime that would have ruined his life anyway.
Absolutely. None of the officials in the original investigation faced any consequences.
Jesus.
But Russ did not fade away. He gave interviews, spoke out about wrongful convictions, and filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against Lincoln County and the members of law enforcement.
So would I. I'll be like, you're not keeping me down. You owe me, at the very least, an Arby's meal.
An Arby's burger. This would stretch on for years. He also spoke out about how someone's life can be dismantled from a flawed investigation.
Yeah.
And about how difficult it is to rebuild your life. Meanwhile, Pam Hup remained out and with $150,000 from Betty's life insurance policy.
Hold on. He's been acquitted and they haven't immediately gone,
yeah. She continued out in public.
Sorry. So I suppose the appeal trial is whether he's guilty or not. Did it suggest that
it was Pam?
That it was Pam, but I don't know. That feels like then they should then arrest her.
So she continued out in public, shopping at the same stores and going about her business, while Russ now struggled day in, day out without the love of his life. Less than a year later, another person would end up dead.
Oh my God, I forgot about this part. What?
On August 16th, 2016, Pam called 911 from her home. She told dispatchers that a man had attempted to kidnap her in broad daylight. He had followed her home, jumped in her car, held a knife to her throat while threatening her family and demanding money.
Goodness, Pam has bad luck, doesn't she?
She managed to escape and collected a gun from her home and managed to shoot the man in self-defense. While
where
speaking
was he?
in her house.
Oh, she just escaped from here. Oh, sorry.
Yep.
When you said and got a gun from her house, I was picturing her like running to the house, unlocking the door, going inside.
No. Yeah.
He took her into the house.
While speaking with dispatchers, she said that she believed she had been targeted because of the Faria case.
Oh, so she's the victim now.
Yeah. When police arrived, they found the body of 33-year-old Lewis Gumpenberger just inside the front door. He had been shot in the chest, arm and head in close range. A knife was found nearby and in his pocket, a note written in block letters instructing Pam to drive him to a bank, withdraw Russ's money and hand it over or risk harm to her daughter. Now, Lewis Gumpenberger was not a criminal. He had suffered a traumatic brain injury in a car accident just years earlier, leaving him with a limp, limited speech and a need for daily care. His family described him as gentle, caring, trusting, and someone who would not have understood a plan described in the note. Lewis's mother, Margaret Birch, said that he never mentioned Pam Hup or anything to do with the case at all. That morning he was at home with his mother. He didn't drive and had no way of getting to Pam by himself. Police began canvassing the area, checking surveillance footage, and that's when her story began to fall apart.
God, I'm obsessed with this. Give me more. Put it into my veins.
That same morning, Pam had been spotted driving through a low-income apartment complex at St. Charles. Witnesses said that Pam was offering $1,000 to reenact a 911 call for Dateline.
What?
A maintenance worker turned her down, saying it sounded strange, and another woman turned her down too, but thought it was really odd and she should probably get Pam's plates. Pam approached Lewis outside a nearby apartment building. Witnesses saw him get into her car. He looked confused but not frightened. Further damning, the $900 in Lewis's pocket was in an envelope that had actually come from Pam's house.
Fucking hell, this woman.
And the note that the instructions were on was a notepad from her kitchen counter.
Pam, you're a fucking idiot.
An idiot. The knife matched others in the drawer, and the pen used to write the note was also hers. Walmart footage was discovered that Pam that day was buying rolls of paper towels, a notepad and a knife, all found at the scene.
Pam, you're doing this all wrong.
It's too
Hey,
much.
girl, give me a call. I'll give you some tips.
Don't give you a call.
I listen to enough. I engage enough true crime. I've got some tips.
Don't say this. After shopping, Pam dumped the packaging and receipt into a public trash can. Pam had scratches on her wrist, while she later admitted were self-inflicted to prove that there was a struggle. Pam wanted to shift focus from the Betsy case, and if she could show herself as a target, then all heat would be off her.
No, it wouldn't, Pam. I've got news for you. You've made it a lot worse.
She planted the ransom note to imply that it could have been Russ who sent Lewis to kill her. She implied he was hired as one of Russ's people.
So even though he's been acquitted, she's like, I'm going to get him back.
Yeah, I'm going to get him back. Yeah, but I guess to get all heat off her, that's what she believed.
Pam. Are you saying Pam or Pan?
Pam, come on. A week after the death of Lewis, Pam was arrested in 2016 and charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action.
For Gumpenberger. Or whatever.
Yeah, that's right, Lewis. Yeah. Prosecutors announced they would seek the death penalty.
Oof.
But this isn't the end of Pam's story.
No, because she's going to be charged for her friend's death.
That's right. Investigators and reporters started to look at not just the death of Betsy and Lewis, but also, were there any other crimes that Pam might have convicted? Did she in fact kill someone else?
Give me it, Sammy.
3 years earlier, on the morning of October 30th, 2013.
So between Betsy and Lewis's.
That's right, yep. Staff at Lakeview Park, a retirement living facility, found the body of Shirley Newman.
That's her mum!
Pam's 77-year-old mother. Shirley was laying on the...
Not old.
Not old at all. Shirley was laying on the grass below her third-floor apartment balcony.
Do not dare tell me this woman has thrown her mother out the window.
It was determined that she had fallen through the iron railings or over the iron railings sometime during the night. At the time, police ruled it as a tragic accident. Pam told investigators that her mother was confused, frail, and heavily medicated. But there were no signs this was anything more sinister. The railing was spaced closely enough that an accidental fall actually seemed really unlikely, and that she had blunt force trauma, which could be consistent with a fall, but no autopsy was ever performed. The case was closed, but after Pam was arrested, it was reopened. The toxicology report showed extreme high levels of zolpidem, the active ingredient in Ambien. Staff later said that Pam had dropped her off that night and strictly told staff not to check on her mother until the next day.
What? What is going on in this woman?
No wellness checks or anything. After Shirley's death, Pam collected nearly $500,000 in life insurance.
Oh, my fucking God. Okay, I have some advice to anyone and everyone out there. Hey, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I like money as much as the next guy.
Uh-huh.
Often more than the next guy, I could argue. I will say categorically, no amount of money is worth murdering somebody at all. Certainly not your friends and family.
Preach it, sister.
Thank you. I will.
There was no physical evidence linking Pam to her mother's fall, but it showed a recurring pattern.
And guess what, Pam? If you've learned anything from Russ, Pam, is that there doesn't need to be any physical evidence. Pam.
In November 2017, the St. Louis medical examiner changed the cause of death for Shirley to undetermined. In December 2016, Pam was booked into jail for the murder of Lewis. When she
booked
was
into jail, like she's just on booking.com.
When she was being served with court pages, she asked to use the bathroom. Minutes later, officers found her bleeding on the floor.
Oh!
She had stabbed herself in the wrists and neck with a pen.
Oh my God.
She survived.
Oh,
Her
story.
Her attorneys argued she was unfit to stand trial. But after psychological evaluation, she was deemed fit.
Good.
By early 2018, court proceedings resumed. Pam was facing the possibility of a public trial and a death sentence. In June 2019, Pam changed her plea. She entered an alpha plea, meaning that she did not admit guilt, but acknowledged that the evidence against her would likely lead to a conviction.
We don't have that in Australia, and
it's interesting,
agree
though, isn't
with
it?
that. No, it's not. It's
No, it is interesting.
Stupid.
It is interesting, though.
Okay,
but it's not. It's stupid. Yeah,
it's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
because the whole point is, and well, you know what? We kind of have it in Australia.
Yeah.
We don't, but you're allowed to plead guilty without actually giving details. And I really disagree with that. Let's do the story of Boris Rostevsky at some point. That is an example in Australia where a husband was charged with his wife's murder. He was not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. And then at the 11th hour, he said, all right, I'll plead guilty to manslaughter.
Oh.
And they went, look, there's not a lot of evidence. We don't know if we're going to get a conviction or not. So we'll take the guilty plea to manslaughter.
Right, okay.
But he didn't ever have to actually say, this is what happened and these are the facts. He just said, I'm pleading guilty. Yep, what's my sentence? And of course, because it's manslaughter, not murder, he didn't get very long.
Wow.
I'll do that story soon.
You just ruined it.
No, I didn't, because I haven't told you about what actually happened.
The court accepted the plea and Pam was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, but avoiding the death penalty and a trial. Yeah. But what about Betsy's murder? No one had been held accountable.
So this is just for Lewis.
Lewis, yeah. In 2020, newly elected Lincoln prosecutor Mike Wood announced that the case would be reopened. In July 2001, nearly a decade to the day of Betsy's murder, Pam Hup...
2021.
2021, nearly a decade to the day of Betsy's murder, Pam Hup was formally charged with first-degree murder.
Why did it take that long?
It's insane, isn't it?
Poor Russ as well.
I know.
Because, he's still going... he's been acquitted... But he's still going through life, and also her daughters going, hello, someone killed our wife and mum.
Yeah, and probably their feelings towards Russ as well during that time, going, oh my God, our stepdad is,
exactly.
Pam killed Betsy in order to collect the life insurance policy and staged the scene to make it look like a domestic attack and allowed Russ to go away for the murder of his wife. Much of the evidence had emerged, including her conflicting statements, her unexplained access to a key near the Faria home, the Faria home, and cell phone tower records placing her at the home long after she said she had actually left. Investigators concluded that her timeline had never been thoroughly investigated. Prosecutors pointed to a broader pattern, a vulnerable victim, a financial motive, and a story that would soon unravel. In January 2025, a judge set the trial date for the murder of Betsy Faria for August 3rd, 2026.
Oh!
In the meantime, she was incarcerated for life for the murder of Lewis.
So sorry. If anyone is questioning why I went, because if maybe you're listening to this
down
the track.
Yep.
At the time of recording.
Exactly.
months and months away from August 3rd,
And we're going to have, I've got a
2026.
date in my diary to look this back up.
Whoa!
Pam Hup's legal team has been fighting over DNA evidence they say might support her innocence in the Betsy Faria case. Seeking access to samples they argue could point away from her, though prosecutors dispute that interpretation.
I don't believe you.
A former crime scene investigator named Michael Merkel
Stop it.
has
Stop it.
been
Say it again. Say it again.
Michael Merkel
I love it.
has been charged with 2 counts of perjury related to testimony he gave in the original 2013 murder trial of Russ. Prosecutors allege that Merkel lied under oath about critical...
Who Merkel? What's his full name?
Michael Merkel. The prosecutors allege that Merkel lied under oath about critical crime scene evidence, specifically luminescent blood testing. Merkel testified that photos taken using a product called Blue Star, used to detect traces of blood, showed absolutely nothing because of a supposed camera malfunction. Court records later showed that most of the evidence photos did show signs of luminescence, meaning blood traces were visible when enhanced, contradicting Merkel's testimony. So his testimony was all over the place, and they went, well, it's actually...
How are there so many people giving, like, who are meant to be experts, giving false evidence? Like, what is going on?
That's your job. His testimony helped support the prosecution's narrative in Russ Faria's 2013 trial, where he was convicted of killing his wife, a conviction that was later overturned. The perjury charges argue that Michael Merkel's statements may have misled the court and contributed to Russ's wrongful imprisonment. Perjury in a murder case is a Class A felony in Missouri with no statute of limitations. If proven, the perjury charges could significantly affect public trust in the justice system and raise further questions about investigative practices in the Betsy case.
Yeah, I had to tell you, Missouri court justice system, you've already got a couple of question marks.
That's right.
I'm not just blaming Michael Merkel.
You would never. Prosecutors have indicated they are seeking the death penalty in the Betsy Faria case because of the brutal nature of the crime.
I thought you meant death penalty for Michael.
No, not for Michael Merkel.
Okay, hang on, you've gone a bit far.
Meaning the stakes are extremely high. Because of the publicity and complexity, the trial will likely be closely watched by true crime audiences, legal analysts, and national media, similar to other high-profile murder trials. Defense attorneys will probably push hard to reinterpret or reframe existing evidence. How jurors respond to competing narratives about the physical evidence could be decisive. Russ called the charges a relief. Long overdue but meaningful. Betsy's daughters thanked the prosecutors for reopening the case.
God, those poor girls, women.
So there's more to come in the case of Pam Hup. There is a pretty bad series made about it called The Thing About Pam.
Oh, is it bad?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Is that the Renee Zellweger?
Yeah, with Renee Zellweger as Pam. It's absolutely fine. I would say serviceable, but there's a very strange narrator over the whole thing that gives it a Christmassy elf kind of vibe.
What?
Over the whole thing. It's quite cartoonish and colourful in the way they tell the story, and I didn't really like it. But Pamela's case stands out as a disturbing blend of murder, deception, and legal tragedy. With at least one confirmed killing, another murder charge ongoing, and questions remaining around other suspicious deaths she might have benefited from. Pam Hup's actions caused immense suffering, including the wrongful imprisonment of an innocent man and the deaths of 2 vulnerable individuals. And her story remains a continuing saga in the American true crime landscape. That, G, is the murder of Betsy and the case of awful person Pamela Hup.
Alleged awful person. No,
she is. She killed Lewis.
She is convicted of killing Lewis.
Yeah.
Wow. What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I loved that.
Yeah. Isn't it an interesting case?
Never heard it. I'm surprised as well when it's like all...
Yeah,
recent.
it's ongoing as well.
Yeah. I'm going to do a quick Google of what they look like. I like to picture people like this.
Yeah, it's a really interesting case, and also with the trial coming up, it's going to be really interesting to watch that as it happens.
Yeah.
And Pam is
Hup,
Pam
H-U-P?
Hup. Yeah,
Double
PP.
P.
Yeah. But yeah, it's really.
Oh my God, she
interesting.
looks like a totally run of the mill, like kind of later middle aged American woman.
Yeah. And she was, devout Catholic growing up. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, there was no like talk of what turned her into this person, growing up. Like, which I found really interesting as well. Like,
Yeah.
it just seemed like all of a sudden she became really obsessed with getting money and if she did kill her mum as well.
So, oh God, the pictures of Renee Zellweger as her are shocking.
Yeah.
She had a very bad fat suit on. Sorry, the reason I went, so I was like, what is going on? Why has she got a weird collar on in her mugshots? No, they're big patches over her neck because where she stabbed herself with a pen.
Yeah.
Oh, she looks a bit like your old neighbour.
Oh, she does. Yeah.
You'll never know who we're talking about.
No, exactly.
If you've lived near Sam, we're
Thank
not
you for calling
talking
me
about
Sam,
you.
not my name, but thank you.
I've never called you Sam.
No.
That was weird. You've rewired my brain with this Pam Hup story. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm really into this. Is this Betsy, a picture here, that one?
Yeah.
I want to see what Russ looks like too. Sorry, this is really good listening for you guys.
Yeah.
Just while I Google some things.
Uh-huh.
What was Russ's surname, please?
Russ Faria.
Oh, it was. I didn't know. It's 2026. I don't know if people change their surnames when they get married.
Don't know.
I didn't.
You didn't.
Okay, I'll just keep Googling and we'll sit in silence. Oh, Russ doesn't look like what I pictured. Russ looks like a kind of, I don't know, like someone that works at an Italian restaurant.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Anyway, this is good. I'm sniffing in the microphone.
Yeah, let's finish this podcast.
It's going well.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, no, it's a really interesting story. I found that really interesting. And it's fascinating.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is.
Would you say it's stranger than fiction?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. It is stranger than Stuart Little. You were right.
Yeah, is it? Do you think so? Right. In the end, it is stranger than Stuart Little? Thank you for saying
much. I just am mind blown by the fact that they did not properly clear the last person to see Betsy alive.
I know.
Like, that is an administrative thing that you do. Hey, Pam, we know you dropped her off. We've just got to clear you of everything. Can you show us any evidence of what time you got home? We just need to be able to check that off. All good.
It was just a blind focus on...
And the death benefit has been changed, so we're just going to make sure, because, that could look like, oh, whoops, you had something to do with it. We're just going to make sure you didn't, okay?
Yeah.
And then we can clear your name. They don't seem to have done that at all.
No. The death beneficiary. Did you say death benefit?
The benefit of death on Pam's bank account.
Yes.
Yeah.
I see.
I can change almost anything I say to make it sound like I was correct.
Okay. You're very good, actually. Very skilled. Anyway.
I loved that, Sammy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I thought it was a really interesting story for this week. And don't bother watching the series, but it is really interesting that this case will be going to trial.
Yes. And I will not soon forget the name Michael Merkel. And I do thank you for bringing that into my mind. I like it.
We'll be back with a mailbag very soon, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you all.